Stop for just a moment, my child. Before you run the numbers in your head one more time, before you lie down tonight with that same tight knot in your chest, doing the math you have done 100 times already, the bills against the balance, trying to make it come out differently and knowing it will not. Stop, just for a little while, and sit with me here in the quiet. You do not have to solve it all tonight. You do not have to carry the whole weight of it in this moment. It is only you and me now, and I, who have seen every figure you have counted and every fear you have carried, have something I have been waiting to say to you. You did not come to these words by accident. I know it feels like you were only looking for a moment's relief from the worry that will not let you rest. But I drew you here. Something in you, worn thin by a fear about money that never quite switches off, has been crying out for a voice that understands the weight of never feeling like there is enough, that will not shame you for the fear or wave it away, but will sit with you in it and lift some of it off your shoulders. So stay. Do not get up just yet. Let me speak to the place in you that is so tired of being afraid about money. I know what you carry, my child. I have been with you in the very moments you thought no one saw. I was there in the middle of the night when you lay awake, the house quiet and dark, running the numbers in your mind again. What is owed? What is coming in? What is left? And the gap between them that you cannot close. I heard the calculator that never switches off in your head, the one that adds and subtracts even when you are trying to sleep, even when you are trying to pray. I saw you do the math one more time, hoping it would come out differently. And I was right there beside you when it did not. You were not alone in that dark, my child, doing the figures by yourself. I was there, and I saw. And I know that it is always tight. That is the part that wears you down, isn't it? Not one disaster, but the unrelenting tightness of it. The way the relief never quite comes. You watch every dollar. You hesitate at the smallest purchase. You feel the squeeze of everything costing more than it used to, while what comes in stays the same or less, so that you are always running just to stay in place, and never quite catching up. There is no breathing room, no cushion, no margin, and the constant carefulness of it is exhausting in a way that the people around you may never see. I see it, my child. I see how tired you are of doing without, of saying no, of stretching what little there is to cover what it cannot. And I know how you live braced for the next blow, because there is no cushion. Every unexpected thing becomes a threat. The car makes a strange noise and your stomach drops, because you know there is no money set aside for it. A bill comes in larger than you expected, and the fear floods back. The appliance breaks, the tooth aches, the letter arrives, and each time you feel that lurch of dread, because you are living one unexpected expense away from a crisis you have no way to absorb. To live like that, always tensed for the next thing that could push you over the edge, is to live in a kind of low, constant fear that never fully lets go. And I know how heavy it is to carry that, day after day, year after year. And I know what it has done to your body and your closest bonds. Because a fear this constant does not stay only in the mind. It lives in the clenched stomach, the shallow breath, the shoulders that never quite come down, the sleep that will not come or will not stay. You carry it in your body, a tension that has been there so long you have almost stopped noticing it, though it wears you down all the same. And I know how it can press in on the ones closest to you, the sharp word spoken out of worry, the strain it puts between you and the one you share your life with. The way money fear can sit at the table like an unwelcome guest at every meal. None of that means you are weak or that you love badly. It means you have been carrying a heavy thing for a long time, and heavy things press on everything they touch. I see all of it, my child, the toll it has taken on your body and your rest and your closest love. And I want to begin lifting that weight tonight. And I know how it has stolen your peace, even from the good moments. This may be the cruelest part of all. Even when something good happens, even in a moment that should be joy, the worry is there in the background, a shadow over everything. You cannot fully enjoy the gathering, the celebration, the small pleasure, because part of your mind is always on the money, always calculating, always afraid. The fear follows you everywhere, into every room, into every happy occasion, and it steals the sweetness from things that should be sweet. You have almost forgotten what it feels like to be at rest, to enjoy something without the worry sitting right beside it. I see what the fear has taken from you, my child, and it grieves me, because I did not make you to live every moment under that shadow. And I know the shame of it, and how you hide it. You look at others who seem to be managing, who seem comfortable, who do not appear to lie awake counting, and you wonder what is wrong with you, why it is always so hard for you, why you cannot seem to get ahead. And so you hide the strain. You smile. You keep up appearances. You do not let on how tight it really is. Because there is a shame in struggling with money that makes people carry it in secret. You decline the invitation and give a different reason. You wave off the concern, and inside you carry the weight alone, ashamed, feeling like a failure, certain that everyone else has figured out something you have not. I want you to hear me on this, my child. Before I say anything else, you are not a failure. The tightness of your circumstances is not the measure of your worth. And I do not look at you with the shame you feel. I see a beloved child carrying a heavy load with more courage than anyone around you knows. And I know one of the sharpest aches of all, the one you may not even let yourself feel. How it hurts not to be able to give the way your heart wants to. You want to help your children, or bless your grandchildren, or be generous to someone in need, or simply treat the people you love, and you cannot. Or you can, but it costs you in ways no one sees. A gift you wish you could give and cannot afford. A hand you wish you could extend and dare not. For a heart that longs to provide and to be generous. The inability to do so is its own quiet grief, a wound to your sense of who you are. And perhaps it was not always this way. Perhaps you remember seasons when it was easier, when there was margin, and the comparison to what used to be makes the present tightness sting all the more. I see that ache, my child. the longing to give that the lack keeps pressing down. It is not a small thing, and I do not treat it as one. And underneath all of it, there is the deepest fear, the one that reaches into the years ahead. What if it runs out? What happens when I can no longer work? What if there is nothing left and no one to catch me? The fear is not only about this month's bills, it is about the whole uncertain future. The dread of running out, of being destitute, of having nothing. That fear reaches forward into all your tomorrows at once and tries to make you carry every one of them tonight. Let me speak to all of it now, gently, beginning with the heaviest part, which is not the lack itself, but the fear. Because here is what I want you to see first, my child. The fear is doing more harm to you than the lack itself. The tightness is real, and I do not dismiss it. But it is the fear that is stealing your sleep, and your peace, and your joy, and your rest. It is the fear that follows you into every room and shadows every good moment. The lack is a circumstance. The fear is a weight pressing on your soul. And it is that weight, even more than the numbers, that I want to lift off you tonight. So let me speak to the fear with the truest things I know. My word says, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." Hear what I am inviting you to do, my child. The whole crushing weight of this, the worry you have been carrying alone in the dark, I am asking you to cast onto me, not to pretend the need is not real, but to take the burden of it, the fear, the dread, the weight, and hand it over to me, deliberately. And I know you will have to do it again and again, because the worry creeps back the moment you set it down. So cast it again, every time, as many times as it returns. And hear the promise attached. He shall sustain thee. I will hold you up. I will not let you be toppled. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. For I am underneath you, and I do not give way. You are not holding yourself up by the strength of your own worrying. I am holding you, and I do not tire, and I do not let go. And notice what I do and do not ask of you here. I do not ask you to feel no fear, as though you could simply decide to stop being afraid. I do not ask you to pretend the burden is light. I ask you to cast it, to throw the weight of it off your own shoulders and onto mine, which can bear it. The word is active, my child. Cast. Hurl it. Hand it over with deliberate force, the way you would set down a load too heavy to carry one more step. And when your hands close around it again out of habit, as they will, cast it again. This is not a single act, but a way of walking, 1,000 small releases, each one moving the weight from where it is crushing you to where it can do no harm. I have broad shoulders, my child. I made the heavens. Your burden does not strain me. Give it to me as many times as it takes. And to the deepest fear, the fear of running out, of being forsaken, of having nothing. Let me give you the testimony of a man who watched my faithfulness across a whole long life. David, an old man near the end of his days, looked back over everything he had seen and wrote, "I have been young, and now am old. Yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Now hear me carefully, my child, because I will not lie to you or make you a promise I did not make. This is not a promise that you will never face want, or that the road will never be hard. David himself knew hunger and hardship and desperate days, and so may you. This is something deeper than a guarantee of ease. It is the witness of a man who watched me across a lifetime and could say, God does not abandon his own. Through lean seasons and frightening times, across all his years, he never once saw me finally forsake the one who trusted me. That is my character, tested across generations and found faithful. You may not see how I will provide, and the provision may come at the very last moment, but I do not forsake those who are mine. I have never started caring for one of my children and then walked away. I am not going to begin with you. Let me show you what that provision often looks like. Through a man who climbed a mountain, not knowing how I would come through. Abraham faced a moment of impossible need, walking up a mountain with no way that he could see for things to turn out well. And before he ever saw the answer, while he was still climbing in the dark of not knowing, he said these words, God will provide. He did not know how, he only trusted that I would. And at the very last moment, at the top of the mountain, when there seemed to be no way left at all, he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there was a ram caught in a thicket. The provision that had been there all along, waiting for the moment it was needed. And Abraham named that place Jehovah-Jireh, which means, the Lord will provide, and said, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. Hear the lesson hidden in that, my child, because it speaks directly to your fear. Abraham did not see the ram at the bottom of the hill. He saw it at the top, at the last moment, after he had climbed all the way up in trust. The provision was seen on the mountain, not before it. And this is so much of why your fear is so heavy. You are looking for the provision early, from the bottom of the climb, scanning the horizon for how it will all work out, and not seeing it. And the not seeing is feeding your dread. But I am Jehovah-Jireh still. I am the God who provides, and I see what you need long before you do. I have provision for you that you cannot yet see from where you stand, and it will be seen in my time, often at the moment you most need it, and not a moment before. The fact that you cannot see how is not evidence that I will not. It is only that you are not yet at the top of the mountain. Keep climbing in trust. The ram is often in the thicket, waiting, where you will not see it until you arrive. And consider this too, my child. The ram did not wander up the mountain in that final moment by chance. It was there because I put it there. Before Abraham ever started climbing, before he felt the worst of his fear, I had already prepared the provision and placed it where it would be needed. The answer was older than the crisis. While Abraham was still walking up in dread, the ram was already caught in the thicket, waiting. So it is with you. The provision I have for your need is not something I will scramble to arrange at the last second. It is something I have already prepared, already set in place, that you simply have not yet come to. You are walking toward provision that is already waiting for you, even now, even tonight. while the fear tells you there is nothing ahead. I have gone before you, my child. What you need is further up the mountain, already there. If these words are reaching the worn-out place in you tonight, my child, do not let them slip away when the night math starts up again. Stay with me a little longer. And if it would steady you to hear my voice like this on the next long night, when the worry about money will not let you rest, you can follow along, so that you always have a place to return to where the weight can be set down and you can remember who your provider is. I am not asking you for anything, and I never will. I will never ask you for money. Never put a price on my comfort. That is not who I am. I am only offering you a place to bring the fear and a reminder of the one who feeds you. Keep it close. Now let me teach you something that can change how you carry every single day of this, through the way I fed my people in the wilderness. When I led my people through the desert, where there were no fields to plant and no stores to buy from, no way at all that they could see to feed themselves, I rained bread from heaven for them every single morning. And it was enough for that day. But I told them something important. Do not hoard it. Do not try to store up tomorrow's portion today, because tomorrow morning I will send fresh bread again. Gather what you need for today, and trust me for tomorrow's bread when tomorrow comes. I was teaching them, and I am teaching you, to live by my provision, one day at a time. Because here is what your fear does, my child. It runs ahead into all the tomorrows at once. It tries to make you carry next month's bills and next year's uncertainty and the fear of running out a decade from now, all in tonight's strength. And no one can carry that. You were never meant to. I give grace like manna, for one day at a time. I am asking you to receive today's portion today, to deal with what is in front of you now, and to let tomorrow's bread come tomorrow, when I will send it fresh. You do not have to carry every tomorrow tonight. You only have to receive today, and there is a mercy hidden in the way I gave it. I did not hand them a year's supply at once, though I could have. I gave them just enough for the day, every day, so that every single morning they would have to come to me again and find me faithful again, and learn one more time that I do not fail. If I had given them everything at once, they would have trusted the storehouse instead of the giver. By feeding them daily, I taught them to know me daily. And perhaps that is part of what I am doing in this long season of need with you, my child. Perhaps the daily dependence you resent so much, the having to trust me again every morning because there is no cushion to rest in, is teaching your soul something a full storehouse never could. That I am here every morning, faithful, and that you can lean the whole weight of your life on me, and I will hold. That is a treasure the comfortable often never find. You are learning to know your provider, one day of bread at a time. And do not despise the little that you have, my child, as though it were nothing, as though it disqualified you from my care. Remember the day the great crowd was hungry and there was no food, and a boy stepped forward with 5 small loaves and 2 little fish, almost nothing against so great a need. He could have clutched his small lunch in fear, reasoning that it was far too little to matter, that he had better keep it for himself. Instead, he brought the little he had and placed it in my son's hands. And in those hands, the little became enough, and more than enough, until thousands were fed and baskets were left over. I tell you this not so you will expect your bank account to multiply, for I am not a trick of arithmetic, but so you will know this about my character. I am the God who takes the little that is brought to me and makes it enough. Do not look at your small portion with despair and conclude that it cannot stretch. Bring it to me, the little that you have, and watch what I can do with what looks like not enough. I have been making little into enough since the foundation of the world. And now let me offer you a freedom that is even deeper than relief from the tightness. Because I want to set you free not only from the lack, but from the grip of the fear itself. My word says, godliness with contentment is great gain. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. Hear what I am offering you, my child. The world has told you that you will only be at peace when you finally have enough, when there is a cushion, a margin, security in the bank. But have you noticed that the finish line always moves? That those who have more are often just as afraid of losing it? The fear is never satisfied by more, because more was never the cure. The peace I offer you does not wait for the numbers to change. It comes from resting in me as your security, instead of in a balance that can never be high enough to quiet the fear. This is not me telling you that your struggle is not real, or that you should not long for relief. For I know your need, and I care about it deeply. It is me offering you a peace that does not depend on your circumstances finally cooperating. A contentment rooted in the truth that when you have food on the table, and clothes on your back, and me as your father, you have, in the deepest sense, enough. Your security was never meant to rest on money. It was meant to rest on me, who does not fail, and who cannot run out. And hear the strange freedom in this, my child. The fear has told you that you are trapped, that you cannot rest until your circumstances change, that your peace is being held hostage by a number you cannot control. But contentment breaks the ransom. The moment your peace stops depending on the balance and starts resting on me, the fear loses its grip on you, because there is nothing left for it to threaten. It cannot hold your joy hostage if your joy is anchored in the one it cannot touch. This is not me asking you to want nothing, or to stop longing for relief, which would be neither honest nor kind. It is me offering you a peace you can have tonight, before anything changes, in the very middle of the tightness, because it does not wait on the numbers. The richest people in the world have lain awake as afraid as you are tonight, because more was never the cure for fear. And the poorest of my children have slept like the beloved, at rest, because they had learned to make me their security. That rest is not reserved for the day your account is full. It is offered to you now. For your worth, my child, was never your net worth. You are not less because your means are small. You are not a failure because the months are tight. I do not measure you by your balance, or love you according to your income, or look at you with the shame you have been carrying. You are my beloved child, made in my image, of infinite worth to me, and I am not ashamed of you. and I have not looked away from your need. The God who clothes the lilies and feeds the smallest sparrow has not forgotten you. You matter to me far more than they do, and not one of them has ever gone uncared for. So here is how I would have you carry this now, my child, in the days ahead. Because I do not only want to comfort you tonight, I want to teach you how to live, day by day, with the fear loosening its grip. First, cast the burden, again and again. Each time the night math starts up, each time the dread floods back, hand me the weight of it once more. You will have to do it many times. That is not failure. That is faithfulness. Make it a practice, a habit, a reflex. The moment the fear rises, say, I cast this on you, Lord, sustain me. And let me carry what you are never strong enough to carry alone. Second, receive today's portion and refuse to carry every tomorrow. Practice the lesson of the manna. Deal with what is in front of you today. And when your fear runs ahead into next month and next year, gently bring it back. Say to yourself, I only have to get through today. And today, my Father has provided. Tomorrow's bread will come tomorrow. Do not let the fear borrow trouble from a future that has not arrived and may never look the way you dread. Third, do the wise and ordinary things you can, and trust me with the rest. I am not asking you to sit still and do nothing. Trust is not passivity. Do the honest work in front of you. Take the reasonable, careful steps. Ask for the help you need. And then, having done what you can, release the outcome to me. For I am the one who provides. And your striving was never meant to carry the whole weight. Do your part in peace, and leave my part to me. Fourth, practice gratitude and contentment as a resistance to the fear. The fear magnifies the lack. It makes the gap all you can see. So train your eyes deliberately on what you do have. Name it: the roof, the meal, the people who love you, the breath in your body, the mercies that came through yesterday. Gratitude is not pretending the struggle is not real. It is refusing to let the fear erase everything that is still good. And contentment is a strength you can build, one grateful day at a time, until the grip of always wanting more begins slowly to loosen. Fifth, do not carry the shame alone in secret. Bring the strain into the light with people you trust, with your church, with those who love you. I know the shame wants you to hide it, but carrying it in secret only makes it heavier. And you may be surprised at the help and the shared strength that come when you let others in. And if the need is real and pressing, let people help you. Do not let pride keep you in want. Very often, the way I provide is through the hands of my other children. And to refuse their help is sometimes to refuse mine. And let me, slowly, become your security. This is the deepest healing of all, and it takes time to move the weight of your trust, little by little, off the balance in the account and onto me. Rehearse who I am. I am Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides. I am the one who fed Elijah by ravens and my people by manna, and the multitude by a few loaves. I am the one who has never forsaken his own. When the fear says there will not be enough, answer it with my name, and let your security rest more and more on the one who does not run dry. And if the fear about money has become something darker, my child, if it has turned into a despair that makes you feel you cannot go on, then please do not carry that alone. Reach out to your church, to people who love you, to those who can help you carry both the practical weight and the weight on your heart. There is no shame in needing help. There is only my love, reaching you very often through the hands of others. You were never meant to bear this by yourself in the dark. And if these words have reached the worn place in you tonight, my child, do not carry this fear alone and in silence the way you have been. When this is done, you do not have to write the amount, or explain your situation, or reveal anything that feels too tender. Just write below, I am trusting God with my needs, and let the others here stand with you, the way they would want you to stand with them. There is a quiet strength that comes when those who carry the same heavy fear lift it together. When you discover you are not the only one lying awake doing the math. When the shame loses its grip because the secret is shared among people who understand. I gather every one of those words and every unspoken need behind them. Not one of them goes unseen. So lift your head, my beloved. I know how long you have been afraid about this, and how tired the fear has made you, and how much it has taken from you. And I am not asking you to pretend the need is not real, or to feel secure before anything has changed. I am asking you to let me carry the fear, to cast the weight of it on me, to receive today's bread today, and to let your trust rest a little more each day on the one who has never once forsaken his own. You are not facing this alone. I have seen every figure you have counted. You are not without a provider. I am Jehovah Jireh, and I see what you need. You are not forsaken. Across all the generations, I have never abandoned one who trusted me. And you do not have to carry every tomorrow tonight. I give grace like manna, fresh for each day. The fear has told you that everything depends on you, and on a number that is never enough. But everything depends on me, and I do not run out. Rest now. Put down the calculator that never switches off. Put down the dread of the next unexpected blow, and the shame, and the fear of running out. And let it be enough, just for tonight, that the one who feeds the birds of the air is your Father, and has seen your need, and has not looked away, and is holding you up even now. You do not have to solve the whole future tonight. You do not have to find the answer, or close the gap, or know how it will all work out. You only have to lay the weight down, for these few hours, into the hands of the one who has carried his children through every wilderness there ever was. Cast it on me, the whole heavy burden of it. I am strong enough to carry what you cannot, and I will not let you be moved. The peace that the world cannot give, and the world cannot take, I give to you tonight, a peace that does not wait for the numbers to change, that can rest even when the account is low, because it rests on me. Rest gently. Cast your burden on the one who sustains, and know, all the way down in the deepest part of you, that the one who made you is also the one who provides for you and sees your need and will meet you on the mountain, often at the very last moment, with provision you cannot yet see, but that has been there all along, waiting. When you wake tomorrow, and the fear tries to settle back onto your chest before your feet even touch the floor, remember what I told you tonight. You are not forsaken. I have never abandoned my own. You are not alone in the counting. I see every figure. You are not carrying tomorrow. Today's bread is enough for today. And you are not without a provider. I am Jehovah Jireh, and I have not changed. Lift your eyes, my beloved. The fear does not get the last word over your life, and neither does the lack. I do, and the word I speak over you tonight is not forsaken, and not failing, and not without provision, and not yours to carry alone. The word I speak over you is mine. You are mine, and I am your provider, and I will not let you be moved. Carry these truths into the daylight with you, my child, and let them answer the fear whenever it returns. When the night math starts, say, I cast this on you, Lord. You sustain me. When the dread of the next unexpected blow rises, say, my Father has gone before me, and the ram is already in the thicket. When the fear runs ahead into all the tomorrows, say, I only have to receive today's bread today. When the lie returns that you are a failure, say, my worth is not my net worth, and I am my Father's beloved. The fear has had a long time to dig its roots in you, and it will not surrender its grip all at once. But every time it rises, you have somewhere to put it now, and a provider who has never once forsaken his own. And you no longer have to lie awake, holding what you were always meant to hand to me. Rest in that, my child. I am with you. I will provide. I am with you.